Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the last live of Blood, Sweat, and Scalp. Give me a one in chat, guys. If you can hear me properly, we'll start soon. I prepared multiple stuff for you today. I prepared one blueprint that is based on what a lot of message ask me related to how to put your taxes on the trading side to zero. Okay, so we are doing business here, and at the end of the day, the net cash amount that you can put in your bank, it's important. So we will go in multiple strategies and residency that still now are proven from a law perspective. We checked everything with a lawyer and with auditors, and this jurisdiction provide you the ability to put your tax to zero, of course, when the condition become enough to justify a relocation in residency. So you make multiple six figures per year, can be really interesting. The second one, it's a breakdown together that we will do of the trading model that I was thinking will be an amazing surprise to watch, and the new model that I'm building. I was thinking this one I keep for myself because I'm making a huge amount of research on it. I already give a lot of them, and this one is performing in an incredible way. I was thinking maybe I can avoid including this in the 1000 ticket, but I will share with you also this model. This is a more aggressive model. It's a high frequency model, and it's a model that is capable of bringing you the P&L positive for the day where you have choppy price action. So you can understand that it's amazing during these times. So we will see not only the review of the models that we are using in Blood, Sweat, and Scalp, we will see a new model, a hyper scalping model, so really fast. Then we will see the blueprint for the zero tax jurisdiction that in 2026, a year where the world is changing due to war, it's necessary, because at the end of the day, giving 20-30% of your hard-earned money, risking capital, it's not the best choice from a financial perspective. And then we will go in the final Q&A, and we will cover all the questions that the community can have. And I don't know, guys, write me a one in chat. Now we will do the share screen soon. Write me a one in chat if you joined the Q2, if we will be together. I was speechless. You know why I was speechless? Because I put one simple message. I didn't do advertising. I have no salesman that text you and bother you. I didn't do stories. I didn't do YouTube video. I didn't do anything. And in 24 hours from the link that got published, we had more than 55% rate of renewal on the membership on the 3 months. This is something incredible because it means that the majority of the people repaid the investment and the majority of the people got more value, okay, of what they paid for. And the new one, the new quarter will be, I cannot anticipate you a lot about what we are going to do, but I have some ideas in mind that the industry have never seen. Okay, so we will make something that it's heavy from a perspective of innovation, also in the researching of the models. Okay, so I will do the share screen, and I will start with the zero tax blueprint. Then we will do a little bit of charting. I will show you today. I didn't manage to execute anything, but I will tell you what's my idea specifically for the week, and then for the current day. After the tweet of Trump, we will see also the fake flag, the false flag situation that is putting at the moment. And we will start now with the zero tax blueprint. No, I'm not on the chart. I'm on the zero tax blueprint. Tell me one in chat if you can see it. If it's visible, I will start to explain. Okay, a lot of people forget the importance in scaling of having a scenario that put you in the same condition as family office, hedge fund managers, and the biggest institutions in the world. Now understand that you already have to put your capital at risk So you have downside risk that is infinite, okay? Because if you are not capable of trading, or if something unexpected happen, a world war, they put the nuclear bomb, that I hope not, okay? But at the moment, I have some information that are a little bit scary. We will talk about this later. But let's say that you have a position. It arrived the news of a nuclear bomb. The market goes 500 points down in one session, with the market makers that stay out of the market because they don't want to put directional risk, and then you get filled with a slippage that is incredible. This can happen. Okay, so you are already putting your capital at risk, and not every risk can be predicted. What can be improved from your side, other than strategies, other than risk management, other than proper mindset, is the foundational base. The foundational base where you relocate and where you build your life. Now, let's not consider everything that relates to UAE at the moment, because we have Iran, Israel, and America involved in one of the conflicts that will probably spark World War III. But other than this, I'm living in UAE for the last 5 years. Okay, so I benefit of the tax regime of the last 5 years. And this needs to be understood, because some people are confused. Some people think, oh, you have 9% tax on the capital gain, you have 9% of the corporate. No, guys, on the United Arab Emirates, everything that is under a person name, so if I'm Fabio, okay, and I have 2 millions in revenue from X, 3 millions in revenue from dividends, 4 millions in revenue from real estate, 10 millions in revenue from trading, I paid zero. Okay, so the personal tax on what's related to investment, trading, dividends, and everything, it's zero, without a cap. And this is the reason why I explained to you that in ADGM, that it's one of the main free zone of Abu Dhabi, you can see names like Bridgewater, you can see Millennium, you can see names like BlackRock, you can see the biggest institution in the world. Because imagine that in America, they have to pay certain threshold, and in UAE or other jurisdiction that we will see at the moment, they have an application of zero tax and a qualified income that exempt you from any kind of gain, one in shot. Okay. Now, United Arab Emirates are not only amazing from a corporate perspective, but are the number one choice for traders. Were the number one choice for traders. Now, the first question that I have thousands of messages like this, because there are some people that are making a huge amount of money from a prop firm, okay, and some other people that are scaling their account to multiple six figures, so they are managing to bring 5, 10, 15, $20,000 per month. When you get this amount, let's make $25,000 per month, okay, you are making almost $300,000 per year, okay. So even if you have a 30% tax, you are giving to the state 6 figures per year. Now, with 6 figures per year, if you are not living in Sweden or in Switzerland, where the service is incredible, okay, it's more convenient for you to go to a place that provide you maybe private insurance and provide the ability to pay for your service, but to keep maybe 75, 80,000 or this 100,000, and these conditions scale also with the value that you get. Because if you make millions per year, like at the level where I am, in the last 5 years, I should have gave millions, okay, to the authority if I was not living in a jurisdiction that gives me zero personal tax. The second one is Monaco, okay. Monaco, and it's for high net worth individuals. So I could relocate myself, and it's possible that I relocate myself in Monaco in the next 3 to 6 months. But there are some thresholds that are not easy to manage. There are some timelines that are not easy to manage. For example, let me make an example. The first one is that to get resident of Monte Carlo, you cannot just apply for a visa or for a residency program. You have multiple steps. They say on the website that you need to put $500,000. In reality, it's $1 million in a bank account, and you need to keep it there, so you cannot invest. You need to buy real estate or rent real estate at least for 1 year, and the price in Monaco, that is really small, are crazy high. So you are in a position that is one of the best in the world, because you are on the French Riviera. I don't know how many of you had the time to visit the beautiful French Riviera. You are in a position that seems like out of a fairy tale. If you go on French Riviera in the summer, you breathe old money. Okay, you breathe old money, you breathe freedom, you breathe nature. It's one of the best places on the planet for me, but it's really inconvenient from a service perspective because you are in a small city. Monaco is super small, and the apartment or villa are not so worth the price that you pay because there is an extra demand there. And from my point of view, it's not the best jurisdiction to start. So United Arab Emirates is still first. Then you have, of course, the paradise from a tax perspective. You have the Cayman, you have the Bahamas. And then on the low side, okay, you go on the jurisdiction that I think are the most interesting for the next 3 to 6 years. So this war, I don't know how much it can last. For me, UAE, from a convenience service, tax deduction, corporate infrastructure is still the best in the world, okay? But for the actual situation, if you are thinking about relocating, okay, Singapore also is incredible. I will be in Singapore probably next week. The banking of Singapore is one of the most stable in the world. For the personal tax, you have no capital gains tax. Okay, so if you make 1 million out of trading, you keep 1 million out of trading. The downside of Singapore is that it's humid and it's super expensive. It's one of the most expensive cities in the world, almost like Monte Carlo, and it's worth it, of course, if you make capital, but it's still not the best choice to start. Now we will see which one is the best choice to start. Okay, you have Panama and Switzerland. These are the two that are the best one to start, and I explain you why. The first one, Panama, you have a territorial tax system that works like this. Everything that you make in Panama, okay, from Panama revenue, it's taxed. Everything that is outside is exempted. So if you have a majority of the client from Europe, US, I don't know, anywhere, okay, outside Panama, you don't pay tax. Okay, capital gain exempted, you don't pay tax. So it's still a paradise. Banking system is solid. It's a jurisdiction that also gives you passport after 5 years, if I'm not wrong. And this can be, guys, till the war don't get settled. I will be either in Panama, either in Singapore. The highest probability is Singapore for only one reason. I have asset manager that manage a considerable amount of wealth and family office that want me there. They want me to pay them a visit and plan and structure something from a corporate and institutional perspective, okay? But if I should start again, and I'm putting myself in your boots, okay, how can I get the most amount of benefit with the lowest amount of economical output? Panama and Switzerland. Not a lot of people know about Switzerland. You know that in Switzerland you pay 0 fucking taxes from capital gain if you are not considered a professional investor. You know this? So Switzerland, it's an amazing place to live. Okay, I spend majority of the summer between the north part of Italy and Switzerland. It's a fairy tale place. You have rivers, you have incredible mountains. Everything is green. It's treated like really the fairy tale world. Okay, and the tax that you pay really works there. So the service that you have are amazing. But there is a hidden gem in Switzerland. That is the fact that if you are not a professional investor, and to be considered professional investor, you need to have more than $500,000 of personal capital. So already prop firm don't fall in this bracket. You need to be really consistent in how much source of wealth comes from trading. Okay, so if you are starting maybe with your $100,000 personal account, $200,000 personal account, if you find a good accountant and lawyer, you can be in the tax bracket of private investor, not professional. Private investor, guys, get taxed at 0. So capital gain, it's exempted. You are in the center of Europe. You have amazing service, amazing protection, and you are connected to Italy and France. That for me in Europe are the best place for the summer to stay. And on top of it, you have a scaling program and cantons tax where you can expand to Zug, Zugo, or Zurich. and you have the biggest network in Europe for trading and asset management. I've been this summer in Switzerland, and everywhere you go, can you hear me, guys? One in chat? Can you hear me? Just checking, okay. And everywhere you go, you find wealth management, asset manager, wealth management, asset manager. Like it seems, if you go to Zug, that seems like the Dubai of Europe from a perspective of lifestyle and wealth that there is. And you go around, go to see some villa, some office, it's all wealth management, private office, hedge fund, wealth management, private. It seems that the whole population lives out of trading. I think it's the place in the world where you see the highest amount of traders, asset manager, wealth protection, and all this profession on the planet. So I strongly advise to have a visit there if you are interested in putting your tax to zero. If you are maybe in America, or if you are in Canada, if you are really far from Switzerland and you don't want to change your whole life, I think the best place is Panama. And now I explain you why. Because Panama, a lot of people can say it's not safe. It's not true. It's lifestyle oriented. It's like Brazil. Okay, if you are in the residential areas and you have money, there are places when you can stay with gated community or building that it's identical to Abu Dhabi, Singapore, place like this, with the benefit that the residency costs 10 times less, the benefit that you live in a tropical island with a perfect climate, sorry, not island, but with a perfect climate, different than Singapore, because, for example, Singapore, it's humid, okay? So this year, probably, that the UAE is not the safest place on the planet, and I don't want to put people I love at risk, because if it was for me, I am an outsider, I will build something underground, stay there, trade, do the live of Blood, Sweat and Scalp, and I will be happy as always. But considering that I have emotional people around me, I would consider Panama for a tax perspective and from a banking perspective, and I will consider Switzerland. Okay, I will be in Singapore for work. Okay, and these are the best jurisdiction that you can use if you are at a point in time in Blood, Sweat and Scalp where it matters at the end of the year if you pay 0 taxes or if you pay 30. Why I'm putting this at the end of Blood, Sweat and Scalp and not in the beginning? Because I was surprised when they started renewing, when people started renewing, by the feedback that they gave me. We have more high net worth people in this program than in every program that I've ever done in my life. We have a lot of multimillionaires. We have family office manager. We have hedge fund manager. They are silent. They have their work, but they are studying. Okay, so they are asking for advice on how to scale their wealth. How am I structured from a company side, from a private side? And for me, it's just a bonus that I love to give you the experience that I built during this year on how to bring the taxes on trading to 0. Okay, if it's clear, guys, if everything it's clear, we go to the trading models and we start the education related to the new trading model and the summary of all the trading model that we saw together. One in chat. See the feedback. Been there one time. Singapore is great city. Excellent quality of life. Great food. Amazing. Hi, Mattia. There's Mattia Barba. So let's go on the chart. What we have today. So before the live, I marked the area that were the most sensitive to have a continuation on the upside. I strongly believe that they will tap again back on the 23,426. I was having a marking of this level for this absorption before, and we went on the tax jurisdiction and the last live, and I didn't manage to, as always, to do some live charting, but I explained to you and I start to explain to you all why I was considering this area for a multi perspective. The first one is the fact that the market is showing pressure during the opening and have a really clean, skew of the belly of the profile on the top. What does it mean? I'm not including this data, okay? What does it mean? That this is the rejection area, so you will start to see sellers try to take control from all this absorption at the top and this aggression of delta. Okay, so this one is the main difficulty that price have to reach the final target that I'm telling you. But at the same time, you have the majority of volume put in the upside of the distribution, and this means that the buy pressure is stronger. You have a multi-range cumulative volume delta that is showing you that today the aggression of the buyers is having a strong reaction, because as you can see, there is only aggression from executed orders on the buy side, and all this aggression is being stopped. They are trying to stop it at this absorption level. Okay, this is where the sellers in all the distribution, you can see their top level of aggression. If this one gets broken, expect a squeeze that brings the price back to this top. Okay, this 23,420. Okay, if this one hold, consider a continuation for the day. This is the most sensitive level. Now, after this, before the live, I was marking the value area low here. That is this white level, and I was noticing that this value area low started to get supported by a lot of absorption, because already consider this as aggressive orders. Okay, even before reaching, we can see that sellers are not rewarded at all, so they are trying their best and they make a lot of effort. This is a two-phase absorption. They make a lot of effort to not make a big movement, and this is one setup that we traded thousands of times together. Look how much this level is sensitive now. Okay, we saw thousands of times together this setup, and when you see at the same time, after these buyers that get rewarded, you can expect them to take control, and this is what they did. Okay, at least till TP1 of the maximum. Look at how much is reacting this level that I marked for you. But why? Because already from here you can see, already from here, let me mark the profile. Already from here, you can see that this is the maximum delta aggression. So in all this range, this is where they have the most amount of volume on the sell side. Even after this, I still consider that the buyers could consider a reload on this one and a push up to the 23,426 after maybe testing back this level and having a reaction. Okay. Now, on top of it, let's go on the profile framing that we always do, so I can explain to you what's the scenario that we are seeing at the moment on a long-term perspective. Okay, let me do some charting and analysis, and then we go on the trading models. Let me remove this one, we don't need. Okay, so here what we have a market that is completely dominated by the sell scenario. So we have sellers that are crazy aggressive on the way down, and we have a profile that is continuing to print cash session on the low side continuously. And at this moment, we have something that have not been seen for 3 months. What do I mean? That we are outside the range. How many of you guys, give me a 1 in chat, for how many of you, when I explained to you that the delta was short and we were ready for the breakout on the false flag of Trump, we took the top, how many of you tried to take a short and to keep a position running for the collapse of the US economy? There is someone in the chat that took the risk. Here they go, okay? Now, on one account that I use for more long term, when we saw the false flag, you remember the taco trade that we saw together. So I told you guys, this is probably the top. I put some volume in one account where I can go in leverage and I can continue to build the position on the way down. I'm betting on the collapse of the stock market at the moment. The volume is clear, the profile framing is clear, and the potential test that could give us something interesting this week could be on the rebalance of this area. But considering the news that we are having with Iran, I don't think this could be the case. And I explain you something. Let's go on the tip trades and let's go back to what we were watching before, okay? You see, when I was talking, what we had, as I told you, we had a test. So if you For example, let me show also the management of the trades like we do always together, okay? If you enter here before, when you see a test, you go risk-free and you try to strike for the target that we were watching before, okay? So when you have an additional confirmation of your trade, you put your risk to zero, because it doesn't matter to keep your risk in the market, okay? Because there is no sense, because they already show you another absorption, so they completed the accumulation phase. You have an absorption here, you have an absorption here, you have a reload of the sellers here, and you have another absorption. If this area gets broken, you go down. Okay, if this area gets broken, you go down. So it's better to have a liquidation point here. Because anyway, guys, if this area gets broken, the bias is down. And this is an example of how during the live, I always explain how to manage the position. And also from a re-entry perspective, imagine that even a single re-entry here, okay, with a small stop loss below the accumulation, went already 1 to 3. Already 1 to 3, this candle. Now you have the volatility of the opening, okay? Now you have the volatility of the opening, but you can play around this high sensitivity area. You see every time they go close to my level and the bias, every time they go close to my level, look at the target. Now they go short. They took the target of the day. Now they eat all the movement and they continue the short. So when you go close to the level, you have an asymmetrical risk to reward, because you have one side of the market in complete control. And you can see this from the profile, where in the value area low and with this consequential absorption, buyers were in complete control here. That's the reason I gave you a reload. Okay, even if I'm doing an educational session, I always want to give you some example in live market of potential management of trades, potential entry area, and bias. So with 3 months of mental reprogramming, it's almost impossible that you don't manage to understand how I trade and how I manage the position. Now you can see that they are trying to break this one, okay? And look, when they try to break this one, what they find: passive resistance. You don't need order flow to see this. If this level get accepted by a full body candle, okay, this eye is the next one broken, and this eye provide a squeeze, where the squeeze can probably bring the price to the sensitive area untested that we have on the left. Which one is untested? We have all this cluster of market participants that are untested. So if you break the top, you could go there. Let me see the chat. Sorry, guys, I was talking and I was distracted. Amazing. There are still no person from the Q2, because the Q2 will start next week on the, let me check, will be the 6th probably of April. So the first lesson that we will do for the Q2, this is the last one for Q1. The first one we will do for Q2 is next week, and from there we will start to do content related to this. Okay. Now this failed auction gives me the understanding that sellers could be in control of the following movements. Let me give you an explanation, because I also want to let you participate in all the analysis that we do together. Okay, after the buy from this level here, you see a failed auction on the top with a big trade. This is a really strong pattern. Now, I was talking, I didn't manage to show you, but this one is a pattern of multi time frame reversal. Okay, so even if we are on 1 minute, now they want to target the bottom of the distribution. And this is the moment where probably you see all the structure eaten up by the aggression of the sellers. Okay, and this is the last proof for the buyers to show their interest in the movement. With the highest amount of probability, okay, if the buyers manage to break, and not with a wick, but manage to break this movement here, we will have a bullish session. Okay, and it makes sense to have a bullish session here. Why? because we had another tweet from Trump that is completely messed up. Okay, he said that they are retreating the troop, that there are multiple reasons why they don't want to bring the war long term, where they attack the ballistic missile site, and where they want a change in regime. So now they are doing one step back, but always with the communication of holding the status of winner. Okay, the only thing I'm afraid of, I will talk openly with you. You know that I don't care. I don't give a shit about politics. Okay, I'm a trader. I try to read data. The only thing that scares me the most is a potential nuclear drop. Okay, because if in case we have a nuclear drop, we have really the worst economical trigger that we will see. Okay, you see, they are trying to break. This is a mean reverting trade. So you are betting on the fact that this one it's a fake range. Okay, this one seems like a real range, and from when they break this one, if we were doing charting, we will took one amazing sniper and one -1R. So considering a 1 to 3, we will be +2R here, and here they gave you the final confirmation that most probably they will have a bullish session to recover all this naked high. This is their target today. Okay, this is their acceleration target that they are having today. Now let's go back to us. Let's go on the trading models, and let's talk about the trading model that I'm building at the moment. Let me know also if it makes sense for you, because it's giving me amazing performance recently. I'm testing it on a separate account because I don't want to mix all the results, but I will have a conversation with you about how I manage it. Give me a 1 in chat. Okay. Now, let's go on the explanation phase. Let's go in the explanation phase here. And let's go in the trading models. I strongly advise you to take notes on this one, because we are doing a summary of all the trading models that we saw, the ones that are performing better from my point of view, the trigger that have the most amount of win rate, and everything that you saw live, summarize for you to start applying it. So let's start with the first one. The first one is the framing of the context of the session. What do I mean with this? First question, where we are? No, where are we? And there is only one reply to this, okay? Because the reply to this question is, are you coming from a downshift profile? So your profile framing on the way that I let you study how to analyze of the previous cash session, is it skew on the bottom side, so you have a potential continuation of the market short, or the buyers are in control? This is telling you who is controlling the previous session's auction, and the market have a memory. So you always want, even if you take reversal trade, I take also reversal trade, but you want always to have in mind two things. Remember this. What are the sharks doing? And you can check this from Tradingster. It's a free platform, non-commercial, okay? So for example, you can see that the last release was, I don't know, 40,000 contract short on S&P 500, 15,000 contract short on Nasdaq, 20,000 contract short on US 30 Dow Jones, okay? So the asset managers, that they are the directional speculators, are betting on a short continuation of the move. This is how I predicted the collapse anyway, yeah? While everyone was bullish on the market, I told you, from this top of the range, we have enough power to break. Okay, this one, it's a taco trade from Trump. It's a positive news in a downward session scenario. It will mark the top of the week. Then we have a direction. This is the target. This is the target. This is the target. This is not experience. This don't come from an experience, because there is nothing difficult to do here. This comes from asking yourself the right question. Okay, first question: where are we in the profile? Are we opening the cash session of today here? Perfect. We are below the previous session value area low below the POC in a downward trend, okay? If I need to take one runner for the session, if I want to make a 1 to 10, a 1 to 15, a 1 to 20, okay? So doing an asymmetrical risk, like I show you, I do multiple times, risking 2,000, 3,000 to make 20, 30, $40,000 trade, I will try to do this in the direction of the biggest wave because I will let this player do the heavy lifting for me. Instead of putting heavy capital and doing a small move in a consolidation market, I will put the same risk, but let them do the heavy lifting for me. This one is a model that, quoting Enrico Stucchi, I want to call remora. Why I call it remora? Because we are like, you know what is a remora? It's an animal, it's a fish that stay below a shark, okay, and offer clinging to the shark, and at the same time the shark offer protection and food, because when the shark eats, he leaves part of the fish that is eating and the remora gets fed on it. So considering that we need to be humble, we don't have the power to move the market, the long-term model that I use to understand which one is the sentiment, which one is the pressure of the market, is the profile framing plus the commitment of traders. This is model one. It's also a model that you can use in every asset on the planet to trade. You can use on gold, you can use on S&P 500, on NASDAQ, you can use on crypto, because it's the nature of the auction market theory, okay, paired with contract pressure. So you are based on data that are not fugazi, the order block, the mitigation block, the gay pride block and stuff like this. We are based on actual data, okay? And actual data cannot be interpreted, because actual data, it's a number. They are telling you that they have an exposure of billions on the short side. You are not reading the headline. You are not being biased by the newsletter that you have at the moment, but you are getting data directly from the market participant that hold billions. And this is valuable. One in chat if everything is clear. Model one, long-term to intermediate model, perfect to frame the bias for the day, to understand when you want to hold a little bit more, based on two main data center, okay? The CFTC Commitment of Traders report, organized in a better way, okay? This trading set, and this is a remora model, okay? Plus profile framing that gives you the most sensitive area, because you know when you can engage, okay? Now, we build a cage of a framing for the model. Now let's go deeper on it. Let me see. Talking about the gay pride. Do you like the gay pride block, Jason? Okay, now let's go on. Okay, and we go on this model from a deeper understanding on how to take crazy asymmetrical, this is the word, okay? How many of you joined this program when they saw me live trade in the biggest stage of the world, or where they saw the session that I made on YouTube where I risked 2,000 to make 50,000 in one intraday session, okay? I'm not smarter than you. I'm not better than you. I just read data better, okay? And to read data better, you need to understand and you need to filter what's important for you and what's not giving you money at the end of the session or at the end of the month, okay? So the power of the remora model, let's call it remora, okay, is that you can consider it a building block. Because when the building block is clear, so you have, for example, sentiment, short, pressure from the cut, okay? Profile framing, short, okay? And you have at the same time, maybe the session start with a strong aggression on the low, okay? You have maybe the previous week low here. So the intraday session start with a strong aggression on the short side. And you have the starting of the cash profile like this, okay? So you know that from the remora model, the sentiment is short, the profile framing is short, the session open, and you start to do your discretionary analysis. You take your fixed range from point A to point B, like we always do, and you start to reach the top of the distribution, okay? From here, it could be anything. It could be big trades, not rewarded, so you can see a lot of absorption, or you can see the Nasdaq effort box, okay? When you have 1 and 2 short, so they are coherent with the information, with a risk of fundamental scenario like a war trigger, okay, this trade here is not stupid anymore. It makes sense, okay, to try to get the Nasdaq effort box, and instead of taking profit here, it makes sense to go on the most important sensitive level. You understand the power? So I'm giving you a decisional model that is not only telling you when to trade or where to trade, but is telling you also when it can be worth to keep the trade for more points. Not because you feel like today you want to make more money, but because you have fundamentals aligned. So you are having caught pressure of the week short, okay? Profile framing short, and the session is starting with a domination of the sellers. So when you go premium back and you have a confirmation from the order flow, you can do it. One in chat if I can go on, makes sense? Okay, perfect. So this one, it's still model 1, the Remora model, that you can use in line with the profile framing and the commitment of traders. Now let's go on our flagship intraday models. Okay, let's repeat what we do. Let's make sure that everything is clear in your mind and that we can enter in the Q2 like a team of killers, okay? And we can move as a group that is already navigating the market from a professional standpoint. Because sometimes, and in some live, and the more I teach, the more I experience it, the students have the same reading that I have. They have the same reading, they find the same area, so they can read it not only from a static perspective, but I can understand how the pressure unfolds in real time. Okay, let me just take a look about the market. Okay, as you can see, they are building pressure long. Oh, you saw what they did. So after the breakout confirmed, they came back, and I want to ask you something. Okay, when they come back and you see this, there is someone in the chat that will think, even if the data is the same for everyone, okay, but maybe the interpretation can be different. There is someone in the chat that will think that this is a strong sign for the sellers, or everyone would agree that order flow is putting the data in a democratic way. And we know that once this level is broken and once this absorption is printed, this one becomes an amazing level to engage and strike the market for a quick scalp. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4. 2 trade for the day. You took the bottom here. You take one stop loss. You take another one. You close with 5R. If you take $1,000 per trade, $5,000, you are done for the day. Okay? You don't need always to stay 3 or 4 hours. If we have volatility like this opening, is giving you information on how to engage. Okay? This is the ability to read market in real time. But my job here was not only this, because Blood, Sweat, and Scalp was born also with the ambition to give to people ways of reading the market from a quantitative perspective, no? So what I built during the years, I built the IVB, the initial volume breakout, that study the participation of the aggressive market participants during the opening, because the opening is the most important point, and I see this as the first battle of the session. So gives me who is controlling the auction, and usually this one is maintained during the session. And from a machine learning method paired with the study of thousands and thousands of sessions, Antonio helped us to point the highest probability profit target. 1, 2, 3, the extended average, the protection point. So now you don't only have the profile framing and the COT to frame a bias for the long term, but I created a quantitative way also to read when the market is in your direction, and if the market is in your direction, which one is the highest probability target that you can take. And like if this was not enough, I did some study related to the market pressure in certain moment, and from this was born the Nasdaq effort. The Nasdaq effort is studying the active and passive liquidity, spotting the best entry point directional with areas. Now we will put also on today, I will show you, okay? So if you have a directional pressure on profile framing and COT, you have an IVB that broke short, and you have a Nasdaq effort here, you have a strong probability of having asymmetrical risk to reward. But now I know the population of the scalper. Majority of the scalper don't have patience to wait for this opportunity, because these are 3 or 4 opportunities per week. So what I did is teaching also my flagship model based on discretionary analysis, like we do, okay? So I explained them also, I gave them everything to navigate the intraday session, the long-term session, but I explained them a market reading based on big participants, okay? Why? Because I wanted to filter out noise and build a model based on effort and reward, okay? And this is one of the best trading model that I have. It's the one that requires the longest and highest learning curve, but it's the strongest one that we have, okay? Because once you understand when the market is rewarding which market participants, you are free. Look at this. Before all this movement, okay, what I told you. If we break this level, we are long. And let's go on it. So the session started like this. How did I manage to read that the depression was long? Because the sellers were not getting rewarded and the buyers were getting rewarded. Again, sellers not rewarded. So in all this area, buyers complete control. Till where? Till the target that I gave you. From here, I start to see a big rejection. So we tried one reversal that failed because this was a mean reverting, but it's okay. We risk one. After this breakout, you see big trades on the body. So still control of the buyers. They gave us again a confirmation that the session want to go long, and we are not using fancy indicators, complex stuff. This is a visualization of market orders based on body week ratio. So if the big trade is in the week or it's in the body, have a different meaning, okay? And the area where you see big trades in the week, okay, with multiple time and effort, the market trying to break it, it's a sensitive level. For example, the highest excursion on the long side we had when between this battle, and tell me with a 3 in chat if you can see the battle that I see. This battle of absorbed buyers, so control of the sellers, and absorbed sellers got won in a way that you cannot interpret from this candle. So from this candle, there cannot be a single doubt that buyers are in control. Okay? And every time you see something like this, also directional trades covering your position below the ignition are all trades 1 to 2.5. This one is a 1 to 3.15 and gives you a lot of confirmation. Look at this aggression. Okay? And look how the market tries to break through it and they hold the price. Okay? Is it clear? Am I clear on this one? First profit, amazing, guys. Okay, let's go on. So we have, let me summarize for you. The Remora model, profile framing and commitment of traders report. We have the quantitative discretionary intraday model using the IVB statistical performance and projection paired with Nasdaq effort. We have the opening session Nasdaq effort scalping that is still the same logic on effort and reward as I explained to you, or because during market opening you have a lot of volatility, so you can monetize the multiple boxes of the Nasdaq effort during this volatility with a fixed, okay, risk to reward reading market. Or if you are experienced, you can use the reading of the big market participants together and find a way to monetize them in line with the bias that you have, okay? Then cherry on top, other than this, I decided to add, to give you really a huge quantity of model that you can apply, the on-chain model, okay? And I share with you all the experience that I have on crypto, everything, from a fundamental perspective, on-chain delivery data, the shifting in market regime, the indicators that predict the bottom and the top of the market from the beginning of the asset with high accuracy, the monetization model that you can have, pairing the timing of the asset with the potential explosion of the altcoin that is following the leading line, okay? So you have 4 or 5 intraday models. You have the long-term investment model in crypto. Probably we will add also, if you enjoy a swing trading model, I will start really soon a 7 figures account on the swing trading side, because I was overwhelmed by stuff, but I managed to get help on some field, like a quantitative research, like some field of deep charts, some field on this program. I managed to delegate to some close partners and freelancers, and I have more time free to do what I love the most, that is trading. It can be scalping, it can be swing. So if it's interesting for you, in the Q2, I would like to bring one trading model that I'm really convinced is one of the strongest in the swing trading space, because it's using the data of the retail traders against them. So I'm going always following institutions, always. And let me see the chat, if it could be interesting. We can do also this, okay? Benjamin, I feel bad for only paying 1,000. Guys, it's not the 1,000, it's the community that we have here, okay? It's a pleasure for me to spend all these hours every quarter, 50, 60, 70 hours together, because I see the difference between people that are greedy, okay, speculators that just want to take money, okay, from the knowledge that you give them, and people that are really interested in building a trading group, people that are really interested in participating, people that when things gets bad, Fabio, do you need help? I'm in Switzerland, I can help with this. Fabio, I'm in Singapore, come to me, it's safer. This is not a group, this is a family, it's different. Okay, it's really different. And on top of this, okay, the commitment that I have is what I love the most. So it's open session live trading. So it could not be better than this. So don't feel sorry for the price, take everything you can and contribute back. Other than this, we go today on the hyper scalping model, okay? The hyper scalping model, guys, it's based on high activity, okay? It's based on high activity, and it's based on the fact that I start to notice something that is ultra consistent, and is the following fact, okay? First 30 minutes of the session usually deliver more than 25% of the day trading range. So they set the standard for the range. Do you agree with this? So the first 30 minutes of the opening, you have swing up, aggression, collapse down, you have a lot of movement. So I was thinking, what if I can build a model that is completely based on catching these moments, monetizing them in the highest possible way, getting the lowest amount of downside risk and slippage? How can I do it? And I came up with a model about this, okay? And I came up with a model about this that I can explain you here. Look at this. Another time we did it live. Look at this area that I marked. When it was unfolding live. Is it clear? This is not personal idea. 330 contract, 142, this cluster. Even before I mark it, I already know. And this is to demonstrate to you that volume is democratic. Now I'll get the fixed profile. Look at the level that will be marked here. You see it? See all this volume stuck together. This big line here. Take only the scan. Look at this. See all this. Look, tap, bam, inside, and reject. Again, what we have here, why we rejected. Let's go to see. Let's take the swing point I. What we have, low volume node. Okay, we are below the distribution in a buy side. Okay, so we are going on aggression on the high. And here they have the top. Now, before continuing the explanation, I want to show you this because this is exactly the target that I was watching. This is the target that I marked for you for the potential excursion of the day, is where they want to tap into. Is the high in the intermediate high of the yesterday session. Pam. Taken immediately. Gap up. Look at this. Look at the pressure. Okay. And after this, they rebalance. From here, strong movement, strong movement down. Even strong enough, okay, to potentially switch the auction. Okay. Because here they are closing, they are getting counterpart, and they are creating, okay, a potential profit taking for all this aggression that they built here. Okay, so they will dance a little bit around this level, probably another spike on the top that will clean more, and then rebalancing on the downside. This was the initial target. Yeah. Now, let's go back to what we are interested into. And I will try to make a quiz to you. I want to see if you can spot it, okay? I clean everything on the chart. Clean everything on the chart. We go on the 40 range, that during the opening it's super violent as a time frame. Looking some minutes, 40 range during the opening, how much price aggression was created. This is enough to close the day, okay? And I'm doing here the Nasdaq effort in this one, okay? And I'm noticing something that it's really strong, okay? It's super strong during the opening, and is the following one, okay? The concept is to take only the Nasdaq effort area, okay, that are created after a validated breakout of a swing. I will explain to you, okay? The session open here, so we have this range, top of the range, bottom of the range, okay? We have this clean contraction before the session. Is it clear for everyone? So the first contraction of the session is exactly what you want to see at this point. Let me see the chart, okay? You can see from a volume perspective, you can see from the structure perspective, but the point here is that sellers try to take control from here, so this is our point A, and point A is sellers control. This is not time-based, It's not time-based, guys. This is range-based. So, control of the sellers, and then we had immediately in the beginning of the session a control of the buyers move. So, wait 1 second. It's this one, okay? is this one here. Now, to help you in the understanding of how you can get the best area, you need to have on a static level, okay, at least 3 relevant or 2 relevant absorption. What do I mean with this? That the session open, okay, you want to see 2 absorption on one horizontal level. Let me give you an example. This one was the precession, okay? What we have here, we have 2 absorption on horizontal level, but on the 2 and 54, okay? So before the actual opening. The first one that you see after the burst of volatility from when we start the session, the cluster of 2 absorption on the same level is this from the sellers. So this one, sorry, it's my seller's control if it gets broken, and this one is the first 2 horizontal aggression without a result from the buyers, and this is buyer's control, B. I will continue the testing and bring you also the result of 20-30 sessions of this model. Let me see, is it clear? So horizontal absorption of 2 level, okay? After the opening, so after the opening of the newer session, you need to spot this pattern, okay? At least 2, better if 3, absorption on one horizontal level and absorption on one horizontal level to frame a seller control and buyer control. And you check for the first one to break. One in chat? Yeah, this is gold. But wait, because when you understand the model, you understand how much is smart. I hope I didn't close. Okay, I was afraid that I closed the streaming. Okay, now after you have a breakout, you clean everything. Okay, you mark only 2 levels, level B, and if you have a breakout of level B with a range candle, you don't want using this model to take direction that are contrarian to this. So you only want to go in the direction of the model. So the first trade that you have active after the breakout of this is this one, okay? So you can start immediately at the closing of the candle, so is this, with this trade. You want to go to monetize the volatility of the session with a 1 to 2.5, okay? Today, you will start the session with 1 and 2. And you are done, okay? Why I say you are done? Because it's 2 setups after a situation control. So buyers or sellers, okay? What's the output? Best case scenario to take profit, you close 5R, 2 trades of 2.5. Mid case, you close plus 2.5 minus 1R, okay? 1.5 are positive. If you lose both, and trust me, it's not easy, in minus 2R. So in case, okay, you have also a streak of losses, you close the day minus 2R, the next day it's enough not only to cover 1 bad session, but to cover 2 bad sessions and put you back into profit. I think this model, it's a masterpiece. You just need to do some testing on the spotting the correct buyers and sellers control, but also this one today was exactly the one that I used to call you these trades. Okay, so control of the buy and control of the sellers. All these trades that are contrarian, we are not interested, okay? Choose setup after a situation of control. That's it. This is an hyper scalping model that usually gives you 2 trades, okay, in 20-minute set charts. So imagine like this. You know that you can stay 1 hour on the chart per day with this volatility, and you can get 2 setup and you are done. This is gold for the overtrader. This is gold for people that have the syndrome of the machine gun. So they want to open 20 trades. This is a goal for people that want to see an equity line that is consistent up, okay? And they don't want to have really negative session of taking 20 trades, minus 8R, minus. But the worst case scenario, apocalyptic scenario, that you take 2 stop loss, that it can happen. Also 2 session with 2 stop loss, minus 2R. You risk 0.25, okay, you are minus 0.5%. One good session make 5R. More than enough, okay? Why this is smart? Because the Nasdaq effort is built on directional pressure dominance. And during the session, you have this drift of volatility that is really fast in bringing you to profit. So it's the best model to use during the opening. And if you remember, we made some session of $20,000, $30,000 scalping the opening with the Nasdaq effort, but we didn't have this filter. With this filter, with the money management rule, and with the basis of exact rule on the potential output of the session, okay, it's a masterpiece. Okay, what do you think? Give me a feedback in chat. Amazing, guys. Amazing. So let me summarize. The zero tax blueprint I will put in the section, sorry. This one, I hope you took notes on this one. This one I will upload for the Q1 example during this week. We already did more than 5 hours for the session. I didn't manage to trade today because I was explaining to you. I wanted to make an educational, but then the setup started and at least I wanted to chart with you. And one last thing, guys. This was the closing session of the Blood, Sweat, and Scalp. One last thing. Tomorrow, the enrollment opens to the public, okay? So I will cap the spot, but if you are not in Q2, I cannot hold the spot anymore. So if you are not inside, there is the risk after 72 hours, okay, that is tomorrow, that if you try to enroll, the enrollment are closed, okay? Because I don't want too many people and I cannot manage the chat. So that's the goal of the program, is to have a live interaction. I can see the chat with you. Now, not considering the problem that I had late, that I got one screen broken, so I'm with one screen, but anyway, during the live session, I always take the time to reply to the question, and I also reply to more than 100 people in private during this weekend, and I will continue to do this weekend. So we will start, guys, Q2 from last week, and considering that the last live, for all the people that joined Q1, okay, for all the people that stayed with me together, I want to take a screen of the chat. Can I ask you what's the final feedback that you had with this program together with more than 60 hours? Of course, you can access record. I will publish this one, guys. I will publish this one on Instagram. Love you guys. Thank you for all the love that you are giving back. I gave you the best model that I have. The one that I gave to you is the model that is making me the most amount of money, okay? I'm testing it with an account of $250,000 and you already made 27%. I don't know if it will continue like this, but it's astonishing. So give it a look, try to use it. As always, it's not financial advice, it's not guaranteed, but test it. I think that this model can make some heavy damage to the prop firm. So it's exactly the one I will use in Q2 to do a stress test of the prop firm. Okay, guys, have an amazing trading week. See you at the starting of Q2 next week. Thank you for everything. And remember that in the neural pattern recognition, I will upload some example of this model so you can study better this week and you can have the example. Don't worry if you didn't manage to watch all the recording stuff. If you buy Q1, the access of Q1 will be yours. Okay, so you can continue to study, you can continue to interact in the section. No one will remove the section from you. The only thing I ask you, okay, only one thing I ask you, don't open private channel or stuff outside because I receive a notification of other people trying to open channel and sell service or make something outside, bringing people outside. In this case, this is a disrespect for me, where I always been open to open new section, give you additional content or everything you want, but I need to enforce rules of the group to avoid that people take benefit of this community by trying to sell this platform, trying to sell this software, trying to sell this live. No, okay? I'm here also to protect and keep the community together. So this is one rule of the group. If you try to bring people outside or to open group without asking me, okay, there is the risk that you will get banned. Okay, and this is the enforcement of the rule of the group. Have an amazing trading week, guys. See you on the next one, and we'll keep you updated on this group, because what we will see now with Trump, it's another false flag, okay, taco trade, and we will make a shit ton amount of money on this corrupted US system. Okay, so have an amazing week. See you soon.